Hello everyone, I'm Jeff and welcome to my shop. The springs are here, so let's talk about them. This is a Craftsman Emerson era spring, feed return spring, and I'll go over all the specifications a little bit later, but it has double loops on both ends, and these are torsion springs. And this is a Craftsman King Seeley era feed return spring. It has a double loop on one end and a dog leg on the other end. So in this video, we'll be discussing how to install and remove these springs in both types of drill presses, where to get the springs, and what they're going to cost. First, let's discuss the Craftsman King Seeley springs. So these are for the 100 series drill press. Here are the specifications for them. So you need to know what kind of drill press you have to know which spring you need to get. This is a Craftsman King Seeley 100 series 15.5 inch drill press. And it's easily identifiable because it has the hand torsion knob on the side of the head. It also has the engine turned headband and the Craftsman King Seeley logo on top. So the first thing we're going to do is remove a spring. So as you can see, it's currently under tension. To release the tension, we're going to grab hold of the tension knob and then loosen the lock screw that is under it and slowly let the tension out through the knob. As the tension is released, the quill will come down. Once we've got all of the tension out of it, we can go ahead and remove the lock screw. It has a dog point on the end of it. And then pull out the tension knob. And you can see the little channel there that the dog point rides in. The feed lock collars are what's going to retain the quill in the drill press. So we're going to leave them in place. So we have a lock screw that sits under the pinion, and this is the pinion lock screw. We'll go ahead and loosen it up with a 1/2 inch wrench and remove it. On that lock screw, it has a dog point as well, and there is a fiber washer. Then we can pull out the hub pinion spring assembly. And you can see the channel there that the dog point of the lock screw rides in. So here we are, and we have a 1/4 inch pin that is holding the spring inside the hub pinion assembly. One end of that pin is splined, and we looked to make sure we're driving it out with the splines going down. And we used a 1/4 inch punch to do that. And I wasn't sure if this was going to come out clear or not, but there's a splined end. So now we can remove the spring. Just grab onto it with some pliers. And there we go. Dog leg. Okay, so to install the spring, it's basically the exact same process in reverse and then some additional steps. So we're going to rotate the hub pinion assembly 180 degrees because this is the end that had the splines on the pin. Then we're going to insert the spring with the double loop side. Line up the loops with the holes or the opening for the pin and make sure that you insert the pin with the splines facing up. And then drive it in with that 1/4 inch punch until it's pretty much flush. That part is done. And the spring is captured. Next, we can go ahead and insert the hub pinion and spring assembly back into the drill press. And we have to lift up on the quill a little bit to get the pinion gears to engage with the quill gears. Here I'm just rotating and finding the perfect alignment of one of those handles, the feed handles. I want them at a 90-degree angle. So I was just pointing out that we've got the hub pushed all the way against the drill press right now. So we make sure that we installed the fiber washer back on the lock screw and insert the lock screw. Then we're going to back the hub off a little bit. And that lock screw will find the channel that it's supposed to ride in. And you'll notice that there's about 1/8 of an inch gap between the hub and the drill press now. So we'll lock that screw down with the 1/2 inch wrench, and then we'll make sure everything's moving freely. If there's any binding, then you're going to have to back that screw out. Next, notice that you've got 2 prongs on the tension knob, and you're going to look inside there and align those 2 prongs with the dog leg on the spring. And then we'll go ahead and get started that lock screw. And I like to remove the quill lock handle. Then we'll start turning the tension knob counterclockwise. At the same time, we're pushing it against the drill press or into the drill press. And you'll see how the quill came up. And then we'll lock it down with that lock screw and check the return. If it's not tensioned enough, we loosen the screw, continue to add more tension, and then tighten it down again. Once we're happy with the return, we can tighten down that lock screw a little bit more and then reinstall the quill lock handle. For the Emerson era springs, these will work in some of the late Craftsman King Seeley 150 series, as well as all Emerson 150s, all Emerson Gen 2s, all Emerson Gen 3s and 4s, as long as they're the standard models. There's your specifications. So this is a Craftsman Emerson 150. Notice there is no tension knob here. It has the 150 headband. These will also work in the Craftsman Emerson Gen 2s. Love that drill press. Such a cool drill press. And it will work in the Craftsman Emerson Gen 3s and Gen 4s. This is a Gen 4, but the Gen 3s look almost exactly alike. So all of these drill presses use the same spring, and the installation and removal is exactly the same in all of these drill presses. To remove these springs, the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure we have enough room under the quill to get the quill out of the drill press. Next, make sure you've got the quill unlocked, and go ahead and grab on to the chuck and then pull out on the hub and slowly release the tension. And you need to do this until you've got all of the tension out of the spring. After you're done with that, we're going to remove the feed stop collar. And then we're going to pull out on the hub while holding on to the quill and pull the quill out of the drill press, like so. Next, and you can see in my picture there, in the top right hand corner, the double loop is captured on a roll pin inside the head casting. So what I'm going to do is pull out on the hub a little bit and then push up on the spring with my thumb, which disengages it, and we can pull out the hub spring assembly, hub pinion spring assembly. That is the roll pin that the spring was captured on. Next, we need to remove the spring from the hub pinion assembly, and there is a 1/4 inch roll pin that captures the spring inside the hub pinion assembly. One end of that 1/4 inch spring, again, is splined, so we want the splined end facing down. We're going to use a 1/4 inch punch, and we will just knock that pin out. And see if the splines show up here. There they are. Then we can remove the spring. Now we're ready to install a spring. And before we do anything else, I forgot to mention that there is a fiber washer that sits on the pinion. It's right there. And it'll sometimes stick to the drill press like it did there, but it needs to be on the pinion. So we can insert the spring into the bore for the hub pinion assembly, and in the pop-up window in the top right there, you can see I'm just hooking it on that roll pin. Make sure it's captured on there. Next, we're going to go ahead and insert the pin into the hub pinion assembly. It'll make it easier to install. Make sure we have the fiber washer on the pinion and insert it into the head casting. Now we can pull the pin back out. And we're going to use a small pick to basically align the double loop of the spring, and you probably will only barely be able to see it, so you're going to have to kind of reach in there with that pick and then force it to the right, and then we're inserting, and I'm sorry that it didn't capture very well on video, but we were inserting a 1/4 inch punch from the back side, and it's going all the way through the spring. So now we're going to go in from the front with the pin, pushing the punch back out the back, if that makes any sense, and making sure that the splines on that pin are towards us. And you're going to have to kind of wiggle the punch and make sure that the transition between the punch and the pin, you don't lose the spring in the process. Then we'll just seat that pin with the punch and pull out on it, make sure we've got that spring captured, and then we're good to hook. So next we will install the quill, and we're going to have to pull out on the hub, as well as make sure that the lock is not getting in the way. And lastly, you probably are going to have to rotate the spindle pulley assembly a little bit to make sure the splines for the spindle align. Once we've got it, we're good to hook. We're going to go ahead and reinstall the feed stop collar. And this will keep the quill from falling out when we start putting tension on the quill. And like I said, this is the same process for all of those drill presses that I listed at the beginning of this segment. Doesn't matter if it's a 150 or an Emerson Gen 4. It's exactly the same. All right, now that we have the feed stop collar installed, we will pull out on the hub and rotate it towards us counterclockwise. And you'll see that it starts tensioning up on the quill. Well, at that point, we need to grab onto the chuck and pull out on the hub and continue to rotate until we get the amount of tension that we want. And then we can rotate it and make sure that we've got whichever handle we want aligned. If we're happy with that tension, go ahead and lock it down, check it. We're good to go. It's that simple. Neither one of these springs will fit the Craftsman Emerson commercial models. Those drill presses require a 6 and an 1/8 inch spring. And you can tell the difference in those models because they have a split head. See that split right there? They also have a different table and they've got a different color scheme. They made these in Gen 3s and Gen 4s. But if you have one of those drill presses, these springs will not fit those drill presses. So, when and where and how much are these things going to cost? The springs went on sale on eBay as well as on the Garage Journal forum in the classified section. The springs are $38 a piece. There's a $12 flat rate shipping. I can't really do anything about the price of everything. Everything's gone up. It's more expensive. I had these specifically made by a spring company local to me. So that's the spring update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos. And as always, I appreciate the support, and I will see you next time.